If you feel like you're constantly behind, juggling a million priorities, or just living in a state of low grade panic, you're not alone. I've actually been there myself lately. ADHD stress isn't just about a packed schedule, it's about the mental load, the emotional weight, and the constant decision fatigue that comes from having a brain that works differently in a world that expects sameness. Today, I want to give you ADHD-friendly stress management strategies that don't just sound good in theory, but actually work in practice. Skills that I use regularly and teach in my coaching program, Ascend. Let's talk about how to work with your brain and body so you can protect your energy, stay focused on what really matters, and finally, breathe a little easier. So let's start with something that seems simple, but is actually game-changing for stress. You can't manage stress if you don't know what actually matters to you. ADHD brains are incredibly curious, creative, and responsive to the world around us, especially things that are interesting. That means shiny objects and new ideas are always popping up. To reduce stress, it's essential to take time to get clear on your vision. Ask yourself, what are my top 2 to 3 priorities in this season of life? And then in each of those areas, what is your priority? This clarity gives you a filter. It helps you say no, not just to others, but to yourself when your brain wants to chase every new idea or overcommit. Boundaries don't have to feel harsh. They can feel like self-protection, energy protection, right? Like saying, that's just not for me right now. And that right now is important because when we tell ourselves no, we're like, we panic that we're missing out. We get that FOMO sense. Whereas if we're like, I'm just not going to do that right now, and even put it on a list for another time, then we are able to let ourselves say, yeah, not right now, maybe later. And a lot of times we don't even remember what it was that we were so attracted to in the first place. But when we do, if we record it, then we've got a place to go back to. So stress management with ADHD isn't just mindset, it's nervous system maintenance. ADHD brains are more sensitive to stress. We shift into fight, flight, or shut down more easily and stay there longer because of how our brains can hold on to things like norepinephrine. So daily regulation practices aren't a luxury. They are a non-negotiable. This could look like 5 minutes of volcano breathing or noticing your breath and perhaps inviting it to slow, maybe deepen. Listening to a calming playlist. Touching something soft or grounding like your pet or a warm mug. Maybe a few minutes of sunshine on your face, or my favorite, hug a tree. Seriously, hug the tree and breathe with it. It's so grounding, especially if it's one of those big trees that you can barely get your arms around. The key is this: do something every single day that tells your body, we're safe. You don't have to be on high alert. This is the foundation that allows executive function to come back online. So the next piece is to move your body, not to burn calories, but to boost dopamine. And this one often gets skipped because so many of us grew up with the toxic fitness industry and many are allergic to the E word, exercise, right? But this is about boosting dopamine. Daily movement, both helps regulate stress hormones and increases baseline dopamine, something that we have limited access to in our ADHD brain. You don't need an intense workout or a fancy routine for our purposes here. 30 minutes of movement a day, even broken into chunks like walking your dog for 10 minutes 3 times a day, can significantly improve mood, focus, and motivation. Walk around the block, dance in your kitchen, do a gentle yoga flow. Stretch between tasks. You're not moving to earn rest or make yourself be productive. You're moving to support your brain. And you don't have to be perfect. Aim for consistency over intensity. All right, one of the most stressful parts of ADHD, expecting yourself to function like a robot. But the truth is, some days your brain will click. You'll be in flow, focused, creative, and you'll get a ton of crap done. But other days, you'll feel foggy, unmotivated, scattered. And that's not a character flaw, it's a rhythm. So let yourself work with it. On high energy days, ride the wave. On low capacity days, ask, what's realistic for me today, given my actual energy and circumstances? Practicing radical acceptance, which is not trying to force yourself to be different, but accepting the reality of the situation, even if you don't like it, reduces shame and helps you conserve energy. Energy that you can then use to focus on those priorities you identified. Stress builds when you're constantly fighting reality. Relief begins when you honor it. Managing stress with ADHD isn't about controlling everything or pushing through. It's about creating space for clarity, connection, and compassion. When you get clear on what matters, support your nervous system daily, move your body for your brain, and practice radical acceptance, you create a life that works with your ADHD instead of against it. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone else navigating ADHD stress. Remember, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're building something real, something beautiful, with your brain leading the way. You've got this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.